You train every single day, you do the drills, you stay after practice, you put in the extra work, but deep down, you feel stuck. You're not playing better, you're not getting noticed, you're not improving in the way that you thought you would. And it's frustrating, right? You're doing everything that they told you to do, but you're not noticing real results on the pitch. Well, today I'm going to break down why you're not improving, even if you train every day, and what you can do starting today if you're serious about becoming a next level player. Here's the truth that nobody else will tell you. Training more does not equal better performance, because it's not about how much you train, it's about how you train. Most players spend their time on drills that look good for Instagram, but don't actually challenge their brain. They dribble around cones, they take 100 shots on an open net, they juggle for 20 minutes straight with no variation, and then they wonder why they freeze up during big games. It's kind of like cramming for a test that's coming up where you're memorizing things and you can spew it out in a couple hours, but then right after that you completely forget and you never actually learned how to solve a problem. So you feel stuck not because you're lazy, but because your training isn't preparing you for what actually happens in games. So let's talk about two mistakes that you're likely making that you can fix to actually see more improvement. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see in players is that they're repeating the same drills over and over, and it's really just because they're comfortable with it. So if you're always training in isolation, you have no decisions to make, no pressure, and no randomness that actually happens in game, then you're just rehearsing, you're not growing. Real growth happens when you step outside of your comfort zone, when you feel forced to react, you have to adapt, and you fail, and then you try again with better decisions. Now, before we get to the second mistake, be honest. What is one drill that you might be doing over and over that you're now realizing might not actually be helping you in game? Drop it in the comments and I'll reply. And if this video is hitting home, let me know what else you need help with as a footballer so we can continue to build a serious community of players here. Now, think about what a game actually looks like. Soccer is a game of constant decisions. Should I pass, dribble, shoot? Should I drop back and help defend? Should I press? So if your training doesn't actually involve decision-making under pressure, then you're not preparing your brain for the speed of a real game. The best players in the world don't just have great technique, they have great timing, they have great decision-making, they have great awareness. That only comes from practicing in game-like environments where every rep includes scanning, reacting, and solving problems on the fly. All right, now let's shift from problems to solutions. Here's how top players train and how you can start applying it right now. Add rules that force decision-making. 2-touch only. Must scan a color cone before receiving. Must score within 4 seconds. This builds awareness, forces speed of thought, and replicates real game chaos. Then replicate situations that actually happen in game. Escaping pressure, switching play, turning under pressure, breaking a press. Instead of just doing cone drills, simulate real scenarios and train your mind to recognize them instantly. Every time you scan, recognize space, or adjust based on what you see, that's a mental rep. So train your brain just like you train your body. At FC Training, I've worked with hundreds of players, and the ones that I see the most improvement in aren't always the most technically talented players. They're the ones that train with intent, who embrace the uncomfortable drills, who asked questions, made mistakes, and learned from every session. Once they flipped their training mindset, everything changed. They play faster, more confident. The game started to slow down for them, and that's when you know real development is happening. So if you're training every day, but you're not seeing real results, it's time to stop training harder and start training smarter. So here's my challenge to you. Take just one drill this week and add some pressure to it. Make it more game-like. Add a decision, add a defender, add a time limit, and see how much harder and better your training becomes. And if you're serious about your growth, I post weekly videos that'll help you become a better footballer with proven methods. So go ahead and hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and turn on that notification bell. Because training is only half the battle. Learning to train the right way is what turns average players into elite.